Welcome to the pottery at Lake of the Woods. My husband Joe Freeland and I have been working for clay since 1999. Several years ago we were in San Francisco, that is north of San Francisco, and were inspired by a pottery studio that overlooked the mud flats that led to the ocean. With that thought, we decided to build our home with a view, and here we are. A third of our home's floor is devoted to our studio. We have 2 wheels, a slab roller, our workbench here, buckets of glaze, and we have an electric kiln room. We were surely drawn to pottery for years before we visited Acoma Pueblo. Our fascination exploded. We walked the dusty streets. We saw the beautiful hand-coiled pottery sitting on the ground outside the artisans' homes. Joe was the first to have hands-on experience at Manassas Clay. Pottery classes were on his Christmas wish list that year. I joined a couple of sessions later. We continued with advanced classes for several years after we moved to the lake. This was a time for inspiration with the other potters. We were sharing ideas, sharing successes and failures. One of the ideas, we hope to show you some of our fish. It was an inspiration by a friend who used metal parts to decorate her animal heads and fish heads and beaks. She sells them quite successfully at galleries across the country. Our mothers were creative, both painted and worked with fabrics. Our pottery is primarily wheel thrown. One of our wheels belonged to Joe's Aunt Helen. She worked in clay. She was a watercolor artist, and I think in some of her later years, she worked in jewelry. Working with clay is sensual. Working with clay is addictive. Working with clay is frustrating. We try to push our limit, trying to make that last pull to get a thin body, and the object collapses. But achievement, when the limits are pushed, size, form, thickness, offers one of the best feelings. We do some slab building, but we love the challenge of doing composite pieces. That's combining the slab and wheel throwing. Joe and I collaborate on some pieces. We do particularly lanterns. I throw them and he carves them. We're always on the lookout for inspiration. We have a Murano tumbler that has beautiful swirl designs. We worked to see how we could do something similar in clay. Our skills have developed such that we can design a piece, size, shape, glaze, and be fairly successful in completing the object as we had planned. Sometimes we push the limits there, changing shape, trying to make larger, trying to make thinner, trying new glazes, not always successful. One of the glazes we tried was crystalline glaze, but my passion comes in working with the wet clay. The crystalline glaze required lots of work, lots of planning, working with kiln schedules. That wasn't for me, and neither was it for Joe. Most of our pieces are functional. We think of potato salad being served in our bowls, fish served on our platters, hands holding our mugs with coffee or tea in the mornings. Some of our work is decorative, such as vases, the lanterns, the fish, but our primary joy is in throwing, sitting at the wheel, getting our hands muddy, letting the mud run down our elbows. It all cleans up in the end. Thank you for spending time with us today. We do enjoy having home shows. We participate in the low arts shows, the Chris Kendall markets. However, if you have a special occasion and one of those events is not scheduled, please give us a call.